GNT show is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised. These are the voyages of the GNT show. Our continuing mission to explore Star Trek storytelling, to seek out new worlds and interesting characters, to Boliga, where no show has gone before. Live long and prosper, bitches.
And good morning, low-enders. Welcome to the G&T Show. My name is Gettysburg7, and sitting to my right, your left, he's wearing his anti-poop puppy walking outfit this week. It's Ceridium.
Kapla.
It's very pretty, by the way.
With these two, gotta have it.
Yeah.
Explosive.
Oh dear. Oh dear. And to my left, your right, wearing sun goddess robes, but yet with Converse high tops. Filling in for Terry, it's Sunseol.
Hello, everyone.
And way back, if you look way back, about 25 stories up,
in the cheap seats.
In the cheap seats, in a glass enclosed cage, running the board this week, it's Steve.
I don't know if that was a trumpet or what that was.
It was him saying hello, everybody.
Oh, wow. Welcome, Steve. Welcome, son.
Thank you for having me.
Janet is supposed to join us a little later. She's working out some issues with her computer.
She's paying off the cop, is what she's doing.
And Terry and Alan, as everyone should know by now, they're working very, very hard. They're working so very hard in Hawaii. I am so jealous.
Yeah, right now they're working very hard at being asleep, is what they're working very hard at.
Yeah, there's like a 4 or 5 hour time difference. So yeah, they're still in bed asleep, hopefully. Morning, Janet. Welcome.
Good morning. Sorry about that.
There she is.
My God, my backup is like they're very angry with me. The little people in the computer.
It's all those pages from the legal documents you've been downloading. There's just too many of them.
Probably.
Quit making us read!
Tell me about it. Good Lord, there's a lot of crap on this thing.
That's what she said. Had you been here earlier, you would get that this is a very scat-centric show today.
Oh, shit.
Exactly.
You said it.
Well, there we go.
What did you do this week? Coffee Clutch.
So I was not here last week because I was moving into the new undisclosed location.
Does it have a secret entrance?
Undisclosed location that has a nice view with a porch.
Yes, isn't that a great view?
Woo!
It's a great view, yes. But does it have an escape route? Does it? Is it defendable?
Of course it does.
There's a safe room in there.
A safe room.
There's a safe word.
Ooh, and there's a red hotline straight to the Kremlin, just in case.
The safe word is Buttercup.
Ooh. You sounded sort of like the secret password lady on Super Password.
The safe word is Jello.
Okay, let's see if they can get it in less than 3 clues.
We should do a Star Trek password one time.
Kapla and all of that.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I'd have to learn what that is first.
It sounds we've got a game for 24
Doug
hours.
Drexler and Dayton Ward.
I think we've got a game for 24 hours of G&T.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Now, but do we go with the Burt Convey password or the Alan Ludden password?
Classic Alan Ludden all the way.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
I have no idea what that means.
Don't worry.
Oh my God, really?
I know, I'm familiar with password, but I don't remember the host's name, so I have no idea who those people are that you mentioned. Sorry.
Alan Ludden was Betty White's husband. They met on the show.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And they were married for a long time, and she still pines for him.
Yeah, they were quite a match, literally.
He was a great game show host.
Yeah, just smart, pleasant, really gold standard.
Bert Convey was a good game show host, though, too.
Give it up for Alex Trebek, folks.
No. God,
What, you don't like Trebek? I think he's kind of
can't.
past his prime.
No,
but,
I hate Trebek, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Trebek acts like he knows all the answers. You know why he has all the answers? Because they're in front of him. Oh no, we were looking for joie de vivre.
He doesn't have all the answers.
He's got all the questions. Oh no, the answer we were looking for was joie de vivre. Oh, shut up and just get on with the next thing, you ass.
And then they come back after the break. We've decided to give you the points because our people went and looked it up.
Because we're magnanimous and people were nasty to us on the internet. All right, I killed the show.
What did Mike? What'd you do this week?
I traveled to the Land of Enchantment, and I am in the New Mexico studios.
Ooh.
So yeah, I'm hanging out with dogs and had a nice time with Terry and Alan before
Surely
they
some
left.
of them look good.
Did Steve just interrupt you?
Yeah, I don't know what he said.
Did anybody tell Steve he was allowed to talk?
You did?
All right,
Or do
we're
you
gonna
not
have to
remember
change
your
that.
drunken stupor?
Steve,
Nick,
did you check your contract?
I did. You never signed it.
Oh.
All right.
Second, the beatings will commence as soon as the show ends.
You always
Why
promise
wait?
that.
Why wait? Why not start now?
Because then I got to get up to get my flogger.
And I think you
Is that
guys
what they
put
call
on
it
pants
these
for
days?
that.
So,
Ooh,
Mike, you're
harder. Ooh, harder.
Janet, how was your week?
It was kind of final project grade filled. Very exciting. Hey, it was one of these things where I'd wake up in the morning, like get out of bed like a shot, and say, "Oh my God, I forgot to add XYZ to the final project." And I add that, and and go on for the few hours, and that would take me 6 hours to do it. Then I'd be looking at it, and and I'd be thinking, okay, it's fine. Go to bed, sleep on it, wake up in the morning like a shot, saying, "Wait a second, the 404 page has to say the word. It has to say 404 on it." And I'd redo it again and again and again. This is what I do. This is my life. Gah.
So
Get your master's.
when is your ceremony?
It's on the 14th. Get your master's, they said. It'll be fun, they said.
Am I the only one that thinks Janet sounds like she's taking diet pills?
Why?
She's amped up a little bit.
Yeah, just a tad.
And this is a no coffee morning. That's weird. I don't know.
I think you're just, you know what it is? You're exhaling.
It's withdrawal.
I'm high on life.
Yeah, you're exhaling because the vice has loosened the grip. If you
That's what he
will.
said.
So you're high on life. So that's the L. Where's the S and the D?
Ooh, Mr. Siegel's still in New York. That's the S.
Easy. And the D.
And the T.
Son,
Right
I'd
on.
ask how your week was, but, none of us care. And, no, how was
Oh,
your week?
man.
Hey, I don't mind. I've just been sitting here watching all the news about Star Trek this week from Cryptic and watching all the people just outraged. And it's like, wow, this is a beautiful thing. I don't have to push anybody to say anything. They're all doing it for me.
Nerd rage. And Steve, if we cared, I'd ask, but no. How is your week, Steve?
Busy, either working or podcasting, so nothing really new there.
Sleeping 10 minutes a day.
What, I'm supposed to get 10 minutes?
Yeah, we did allow it in the contract.
When
Not
you told me that.
consecutive. Not
Last time I
consecutive.
got up was Thursday morning.
There you go. So,
Oh my gosh.
Mike, anybody? Am I the only one that's seen Captain America?
Nope.
I've seen it.
I saw it a week before you.
Well, it doesn't count for you because you're British and it's Captain America.
So it's Captain Philosopher's Stone there?
Yeah, there you go. Sorcerer's Stone, though.
So
Um,
Tony Stank.
oh my God, did you die, Mike?
Yes.
Okay, I have to tell the audience. We were in a chat, just our what is it called, Mike? The
In
G&T
our
show
yeah
chat
our
room, and Mike had a misspelling, and he said Tony Stank, and I was like, I'm so going to use that. Well, don't you know that Tony Stank is said in the movie, and it's
and
very funny.
it was one of the
Stan Lee.
cameos. Yeah, it was a
Stan Lee.
cameo.
So, what'd you think? You know, Marvel has continues to just hit home runs out of the park.
I'm enjoying everything they put out, and this was no exception. I mean, it seemed as if there was a lot more action, just because we're seeing, you know, all of these superheroes, even a few new ones thrown in, and almost from the get-go they're like in each other's faces.
Well, one of the things that Marvel is doing so well is there are there are illusions and stuff that go all the way back to the first Iron Man movie. The way they've woven together all of these movies from the MCU is
Mm-hmm.
just amazing. And, you know, Marvel's movies, and we've discussed it here, the difference between the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the DC Man of Steel and then Batman
There's a
versus
guy.
Superman.
There's a guy at the wheel, as opposed to
Well,
letting the.
the humor. But
Oh well,
what I
there's
thought was
that too.
interesting about Civil War was the first half of Civil War. I don't think there's any jokes. It's very serious, and it's setting up the second half. But once the fighting starts, the humor starts. And it was an interesting thing to look at as how they use the humor as a release valve from what's going on with the fighting. And it's just
They're deflating each other's hate with humor.
yeah, and it's the Warner Brothers is doing the exact opposite. And one thing that Batman versus Superman didn't have that this movie has is plenty of sunlight. And just look at the difference in how it looks.
Yeah, yeah.
It's an entirely the feel is so different, and to me, the Marvel movie just feels, I don't want to say more professional because that's not the word I'm looking for, but just more
Well, it seemed it's right off the bat because of you know the lighting and everything else. Even because it's such a dark matter, it's very optimistic in the way that it's portrayed. You know, I don't know if that's the exact word that I'm looking for, but I mean, even though they're getting ready to beat the crap out of each other, they are, you know, there's still that glimmer of hope, that light, that friendship, that lies beneath it all. You know, so even though they are drawing these lines and everyone is kind of picking a side and things are going head to head, but really they're still friends. They're still companions, compatriots, and
yeah, and it wasn't resolved by somebody saying, Martha, that's your mother's name? You know what I mean?
don't remind me. Yeah.
I don't know. It's got, I can't think of the word as just the difference in the feel. Because Batman versus Superman felt epic. It did have that feel. But the Marvel films just have a more somebody help me out. I can't think of the word.
Well,
Just
and a lot of this actually stems from the fact that DC had a cinematic universe kind of thing going on before Marvel came along, and Marvel just went, look, you know what? We're going to get everybody together. We're going to sit down and we're going to write this thing out for the next 17 years of what we're going to make as a film.
And that's the problem that I not the problem, but this is the thing that Warner Brothers is trying to catch up now, and you can't rush it. You just can't.
Yeah.
And I would rather if they really sat down and had a blueprint like
DC.
Marvel does. And because Marvel's also extends into the Netflix series, into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So Marvel's got these tentacles, or these, if we're going to use a better analogy, I think, these branches coming off of the main part of the tree that all tie in.
Yeah, well, DC, they've always been, they've always had the multiverse, the idea of a multiverse, where with it, each film could be its separate universe, and they've done it that way, and even when it comes to their television shows, they separate them almost per channel. Gotham on Fox is its own universe compared to Supergirl on CBS, and then everything on CW is basically linked together. So it's this idea of the multiverse that DC is really good at. But the thing is, we also want what Marvel is doing, which is this
Continuity.
Continuity, this cinematic universe. And with Flash recently crossing the multiverse and heading into Supergirl.
Oh, I'd hit into Supergirl, let me tell you.
It kind of added that continuity that was kind of missing from everything else. That was keeping everything separate.
Well, there was I'm trying to remember. I think it was one of the Flash Arrow crossovers, but I'm not sure. But there was a nod that Batman exists in the CW DC universe. I don't know if you caught it. They were talking about something, and he said, "Oh, they were trying to come up with the name for Felicity. That's what it was." And they gave her nickname. I forget what it was, but they were like, "We were going to use Oracle, but that's already taken."
I think it was Watchtower or something like that.
Yeah. And so when they said that, I kind of came up off my seat because I was like, "Oh my God, that's an
acknowledgement.
Birds of Prey reference and a Batman reference."
Yeah.
So I thought that was a really subtle little nod.
Overwatch, yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like it. Thank you.
Overwatch? What is this, Blizzard? Get the hell out of here.
Watchtower was Smallville.
That's right.
Good callback,
yes.
Steve.
Which was also had Arrow in it, so it's like
and
it
Flash.
It had them all, yeah.
Yeah.
It had Hawkman and Hawkgirl.
It had Supergirl.
Yeah.
Most of which have actually appeared in the new Supergirl.
God.
I'm really enjoying. I'm really enjoying Legends of Tomorrow. Have you guys been following that?
I missed the last episode because I just got my cable hooked up yesterday. Yes,
and real internet.
I went a week without television.
Oh my God.
I know. Take it. It's okay. Oh, Matthew Anderson just put in the chat room the Birds of Prey song. That is from the episode written by Gail Simone.
Right on.
From Batman Brave and the Bold.
Well, to kind of bring all this DC Marvel talk back to towards Trek, there's a lot of it's all good storytelling, or at least that's the point that we're trying to make is each one has its own approach at storytelling, and Star Trek can actually handle both the large, massive cinematic, or the large single universe, as well as the multiverse. We've seen the multiverse in the Mirror universe, and now the alternate universe, and I'm sure they'll probably introduce a few other universes.
Don't forget other episodes themselves, like Parallels, where we've got multiple Worfs.
Yeah, and
but can it handle the Dayton verse?
Yes. Yes, it can.
I'd be more worried
Specifically
about the
because Dayton
Macverse. Everything
handles
gets
it.
destroyed.
That's the Macverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything goes kaboom.
Snuffs out the
That's like
galaxy.
the Macverse is basically the episode where Worf is jumping from time frame to time frame or universe to universe, and
Parallel.
the Riker from where the Borg have taken over. That's the Macverse. I don't want to go back. You don't know what it's like.
I'll fight you to stay in this universe.
So yeah,
So Janet, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm thinking about I don't know what
Captain
else.
America's amazing arms.
Not just his arms, baby.
Look, I'm painfully hetero, but there's a scene where he's trying to keep a helicopter from moving where I went gay.
Good to know. Isn't this interesting? This conversation has taken a turn, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it was.
A time for the waste.
I swooned, and then thankfully Scarlet Witch came back on screen and grabbed me back from where I was. Whew.
There was swooning. There was music. We didn't know what was happening.
And there was sweating.
There were drugs. There was coffee. It was a mess. But
You know what they did, Mother? They hooked this thing up to my head, and it had electricity with a little sponge going through it, and it just went right through my whole body.
Was that when you told a lie, or what was this for?
That was because I had thoughts of a man that he was beautiful.
Oh, so it was conditioning. Okay,
It was conditioning.
Now we know.
And then we all went out after and had Shirley
though.
Temples.
Some people call that conversion therapy, honey.
Yeah.
No converting, or we won't invite you back for Passover.
Oh no, I converted twice already, and I'm not going to do that again.
If you do it twice, it's a 180 or 360 or whatever that is. It comes right back to you.
Well, I convert one more time. I get a free fill
Like
up
a
at the gas
boomerang.
station.
They punch your card. That's awesome.
They do. Oh, they're punching the card. That's what they call it, sweetie.
This
Oh,
episode
boy.
of the Klingons of Long Island was brought to you by
Now, if you'll
Tantaxina.
excuse me, I'm going to go watch my Paulin collection.
On that happy note.
So, Mike, do we have news?
Yes, we have lots of news.
Nobody knows
Right.
what the hell's going on in the world.
Mike is our Brian Williams. Oh, wait, no. He's not our Brian Williams. Mike's our Dan Roth. No, hold on a minute. Let me think about that for a second.
Katie
Mike
Couric?
is our Katie Couric. Yeah, look at that. Great minds. No, Mike doesn't have the legs to be Katie Couric.
Perky. Perky.
Ah, that's so mean.
No, Katie Couric, as much as I hate her, does have a great set of gams. And Mike will tell you, after the spider bite, he does not have great gams.
No, not at all. My gams are like deformed, and yeah.
I was trying not to get into that, Mike.
Well,
Mike has Gorn.
the truth
legs now.
hurts. Gorn
Was it
legs are
radioactive,
actually-
Spider?
I wish it was.
Oh, we gotta say, real quick, I am not a Spider-Man fan, but Tom Holland as Spider-Man was hilarious.
I like this version of Spider-Man.
I think
this
it's the
version.
best one yet.
And
Yeah.
really like this version of Aunt May.
I bet you did.
Oh, Marissa
Yeah.
Tomei.
She's
Marissa
hot.
Tomei does not age.
I actually saw a post on Facebook in one of the groups that I'm in. It's like, who the hell are you people liking Aunt May now? I've liked Aunt May since and it's like,
Oh,
oh,
God.
this is getting weird.
Oh, well, there's a whole cult of Betty White out there, so
It all comes
All right.
back to Betty White.
I think it's time for dun 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 dun. It's our own Lester Holt, Ceridium.
Let's start with some general news.
What's new in the Star Trek universe? General news.
Who's the general?
Chang!
There
Chang.
you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Not Karn?
No.
Oh.
An artist has reimagined Star Trek in some vintage ads, and I have to say the Enterprise looks sleek, all chromified. It reminds me of like a Studebaker.
Wow, that's some of that 1950s retro future
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, it looks sweet. And look at the bridge. I mean, below it,
Did you put it
it
in the chat room?
yeah, well, it's been scrolled. You have to scroll up now to find it, but it's there.
Oh, there it is.
And of course the captain hitting on the. I mean, some of these are very cool and they look amazing. So check those out.
It's got those tape reel decks. Oh my god. That's just that is beautiful.
Yeah, very cool. And it looks like we are one step closer to
Genesis, leave your worries behind. Good lord.
We are getting closer to Ambu Jitsu. That's the fighting style that Riker and his father did with the motorcycle gear. Well, a company has developed combat armor, very flexible combat armor, and it's weapons-based martial arts is what they're kind of demonstrating with this combat armor. But there's guys with sticks and axes and swords and billy clubs, and they're just going at it. And it's like this is Ambu Jitsu. This is the early version of it. So I thought it was very cool and worth sharing. So check that out. Seth MacFarlane. Give me a second here.
Is he back on Enterprise again, being berated by Trip?
No, but he is developing a Star Trek style comedy.
What?
It's Family Trek. They've done the whole Family Wars thing now. Now they're going to do Family Trek.
No, this is a TV show that he's a live action TV show that he's going to be producing. It looks like for Fox for the spring of 2017. It will be set in space. It's going to be a drama and a comedy, so a dramedy. So some people compare it to a mix of Family Guy, Star Trek, and Galaxy Quest. The new series will revolve around the adventures of the Orville, a rundown ship in Earth's interstellar exploratory fleet. The Orville. And there's a quote, I've wanted to do something like this show ever since I was a kid, and the timing finally feels right, says MacFarlane.
So here's the question. He's doing this show on Fox.
Yes.
Want to know right now, did he get CBS's approval?
Well, it's
parody.
not. It's parody. It's supposed to be his own show, but he's going to be taking everything that he's everything that he loves and creating something new with it. So it's transformative.
I'll tell you what pisses me off in this article. Some Star Trek fans will probably hate on the series because it will poke fun at Star Trek. Okay, you know what? Just stop right there. Because, all right, go ahead, Mike, because I don't want, it's too early to get riled up. It's too early for me to start beating Steve.
The fact is, that shit happens when a new series comes out of Star Trek. So, yeah, that's something that's legitimately going to happen to a parody Trek.
I don't really think it's going to be a parody Trek. I think it's going to be a space show, but he's going to be taking the elements that he
like
loves
Galaxy Quest did.
Yeah, he's going to be taking elements that he likes and incorporating them into this new thing. I don't think it's going to be a straight up parody. I don't think it's going to be anything quite at that far. But it's going to. I think when you watch it, you're going to say, "Oh, I can kind of see Star Trek in that. I can kind of see Galaxy Quest in that. I can kind of see Family Guy in the way that it's handling, say, humor. Maybe for Star Trek, it's the way that he's addressing some issues, which also can deal with how what he's done with Family Guy. But
if it's a Star Trek parody, is this the film we've been waiting for called what is it, Axanar?
Wow!
Wow!
Oh my God, you had a good one.
Look at
wow!
I'm looking at Steve in awe. Wow, nicely played.
Still though,
we went there.
Knowing McFarlane's sense of humor, the ship is called the Orville, and whatever food processors they have are going to dispense nothing but popcorn for the first couple of episodes.
Product placement. Somebody's got to pay for the show. or the engineer's name's going to be Redenbacher.
Hold on. Somebody boot Baz from the chat room, please, after his comment. Just boot him. Get him out. Get him out of here.
Let's see. We have a bunch of other news. Let me check my addendum real quick. That's product. Okay, we can go to product news next, unless someone has an objection. Okay, product news.
I need more Star Trek stuff. Product news.
Apparently, this week, stamps are the big thing. Yes, that's right, stamps.
Not just stamps, Canada stamps.
S&H green stamps.
No, not just Canada stamps, but yeah, Canada has all of their stamps have been revealed,
Nothing.
and we'll get to that in a moment. I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you were saying, Nick.
I thought at least Jasper would.
I didn't hear you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Is it S&H green stamps?
Oh my God! Yeah. You can get a calendar book.
Oh, you know what I got? I got a pen and pencil set, a mechanical pen and pencil.
Oh, a desk set. How lovely. With a blotter.
Yeah, with the blotter, but the blotter was an extra 5,000 stamps.
So it took you like 3 weeks.
Yeah. And if the audience doesn't know what S&H green stamps is, it's because Jessica and I are old.
We're vintage.
Just look up S&H green stamps, and you won't believe what they used to be.
Right
and the
on.
crap that people used to save up for.
All right. Let's see. As I was saying, they are introducing some new Women of Star Trek postage stamps. By
Oh, I'll lick
Tuvalu.
those.
Let's see. So it features prominent female characters from the Prime Timeline series, and like other releases, the series comes in the form of 2 miniature sheets, one featuring 6 stamps, and the other a single higher value stamp. The 6 stamp sheet stars Dr. Beverly Crusher. Damn, I can't speak this morning. Excuse me. Nayoda Uhura, Captain Janeway, Hoshi Sato, and 2 characters from DS9, Kira Nerys and Jadzia Dax. The single sheet stamp is $7.09.
Of course, she's the more expensive one.
I'll lick that one.
She's screwing around with the producer.
How dare you? Well, do you not notice? You've got the 6 on the one sheet, and 7 is her own. 7 of 9.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes, I noticed that. Where's Dr.
Yes.
Pulaski?
Well, see, that's what they should have done is had 2 more single sheets. That way, it's a total of.
I would go with Deanna and B'Elanna.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And well, to Paul.
Oh, good call.
They could have done so many more than 9.
They've got Hoshi, which is
they could literally have a whole sheet dedicated just to Majel Barrett, given the role she's played.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what one I would want. Oh, Dr. Helen Noel.
Vina.
Dr. Helen Noel. Whoa, hello. What?
So yeah,
Anderson is
people are posting postage stamps in the chat room.
Yes, they are.
And speaking of postage stamps, again, the Perth Mint, they are releasing stamps and coins together, actually. So the Perth Mint in Australia has unveiled a new set of Star Trek stamps and also a Star Trek coin that are both practical and collectible. The 50 Years of Star Trek stamp features 25 stamps that have tabs featuring familiar Star Trek characters and iconic Enterprise starship. The stamp consists of 2 sheets of 10 and 1 sheet of 5, and the pack has been printed using special metallic foil technique. Retail value looks like $27.
Wait, is
And
that 27 Australian though, or
I would. It's. I'm assuming so because it's has an RRP of $27. So that seems like a doesn't seem like an American term.
Baz? Baz? What is RRP? Is that?
Recommended retail price.
Oh,
Ah.
okay.
Thank you. Very good.
Look at Steve is on fire today.
Yeah.
We'll get the extinguisher.
And
No,
next,
I'm gonna try and be nice to Steve today because Steve is actually a good person. When I'm sick, Steve is the only one that will send a thing and say, "Are you doing okay?" and all of that. So I've made up my mind. Oh fuck it, no, Steve, I can't be nice to you. You know that.
Well, it was quick. It was something.
it was yeah. We were.
I had 3
The middle
seconds.
cannot hold.
It was 3 seconds of bliss, wasn't it, Steve?
Yeah.
Which is what would happen. Never mind.
Okay, continuing from
Oh.
the Perth Mint. Next, there's a set called 50 Years of Star Trek Spock Postal Numismatic Cover. I'm not even pronouncing that correctly. So basically, what this is there's a $1 Spock coin, and then some Spock stamps included with it on this large sheet. And they also have one that features the Enterprise. So it looks like these are limited edition. The Spock set is they're only making 7,000 of them, and it's going for $24.95. And the Enterprise
Of
they've
the
made
coin, right?
well, it's the
Only
it's
7,000 of the coin, or
well, it's the whole this particular set, which is the Spock coin,
oh
the
wow,
image, and the
wow.
stamps. And then the Enterprise one, they're making 7,500 of them, and again, $24.95 is the price. So if you're into stamp collecting, you know these are really nice. I love the way these coins look.
All right, Baz. If you really want to be something, you'll that's what you'll bring to the convention for us.
Some stamps. Two more items. Both of these have to do with from the Canada Post. So these are the Canada stamps. The first link is the complete set of stamps that they have put that they're going to be issuing, and so it's loading slowly. So bear with me.
Hey, since I have real internet again, Mike,
Yes.
Is my sound any clearer?
It's like butter.
Sorry, what did you say?
You sound good. I'm still hearing a buzz, but that's more from the microphone than anything else. But other than that, you're sounding great.
Okay. Yeah, because I have real internet now. I'm no longer using the air card.
That's awesome. All right, so the new stamps, they've got Kirk, they've got Commander Core from TOS, Scotty, McCoy, Spock, of course. They have the D7 battle cruiser, the USS Enterprise. So that's kind of cool. But I was kind of very interested. Oh, damn it. I closed all my windows. Okay. Someone.
Well, while you're opening that back up, Mike,
yeah.
while you're doing that, let me just say real quick. If you've been watching the news, Canada right now is Fort McMurray in Western Canada is on fire, like literally
yes,
on
it's
fire.
tragic.
And all the best to our because we have plenty of friends in Canada. I think of Jara, I think of Sue, one of two, Stacy Viceroy, just so many people from the convention that are from Canada, and I know. I don't think any of them are in the area, but be safe wherever you are with there because it is horrible what is going on there.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. I'm back. Sorry about that. The last new stamps that the Canadians are introducing are actually kind of some of the coolest ones that I've seen. Okay.
Oh my God! How do they do that on a stamp?
Yes. These are
Gorgeous.
Stamps. It's a lenticular souvenir sheet. that's created using actual video and still images from Star Trek the original series, that features 2 stamps that pay moving tribute to the transporter and to the city on the edge of forever. The first stamp depicts Scotty transporting Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, while the second one finds Kirk and Spock leaping through the Guardian of Forever.
That's really cool.
Isn't this that thing where you hold up the little image and then you move the picture and then
That's
whole
what I'm
picture
thinking.
moves?
Yeah.
It could be. I'm not exactly sure.
They've just made it into an animated GIF, basically.
Yeah, on paper.
Yeah.
But son, you're talking about the things where like you would get when
The
they
little
had
holograms.
like the baseball cards where you
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like the moving baseball cards and stuff.
So someone look up what lenticular means.
That is when the doctor takes 2 fingers and presses against your left. Oh no, never mind.
Oh.
You know, I never really have a problem with that, but usually his van is very hot.
Your doctor
Lenticular of or relating to the lens of the eye, or shaped like a lentil, especially by being convex.
Oh, so
so it's
okay.
shaped. Okay. Interesting. So maybe it is, if you look at it at different angles, it does move. Interesting. But like I said, this is one of the cooler stamps that I've seen. So check
That
them
is
out.
very cool.
We have a correction from last week. Well, we have several corrections, but
Yeah, I have a correction for last week.
Batman v Superman is the best. I know that was a couple of weeks ago.
okay, you want to go first, Nick?
Wait. What did he just say?
Shh. He said
What?
nothing.
He's
What
trying to
said
get it
nothing?
underneath your skin.
What did that communist just say?
He said nothing.
Mike, what was it I contacted you about from the show when I listened back
Oh,
since I wasn't here?
I remember you contacting me, but I don't remember what it was at the moment.
You bastards.
Yeah.
I wasn't in that conversation to remind the both of you.
I have no idea.
Oh, something said about with my absence. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, what was it?
I don't recall. Oh man, it's
Something
been a
about
week.
you enjoying pain sticks.
No, that's well known.
That's not unusual.
No, please.
Does it have to do with the musical theater?
Oh, sweetie, everything comes back to the musical theater.
Well, while Nick tries to remember what it was,
I would go back through our G&T show meeting notes, but
you might have
those
sent
are
it to me
way
privately.
too long.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on there. But last week we talked about geek paintings. Well, I had come across. Actually, I was informed by several people that geek paintings is actually a scam. They feature stolen art, and they are not licensed. So that is a major issue. We do support the licensed products, and I do apologize for including that. So there is an article that I'm including in show notes about one person's experience with geek paintings. So please check it out and forgive us for our mistakes.
And, because we care about you as a consumer, and we certainly care about the,
We do.
about the question of IP holders, because, they put
Yeah.
their heart and soul into their creations, whatever they are, and however big an IP holder happens to be, isn't the point. It's that they created this this art, and it shouldn't be taken from them. Certainly, it's an asset, and they're entitled to protect it and have exclusivity in it, and to license people if they wish. But that is their choice. It's not for people to take it and then say, "Haha, we're taking it anyway."
Speaking of art and IP holders, I meant to bring this up earlier. Did anybody else partake yesterday during Free Comic Book Day?
I did not, but I did see it. I even went as far as looking up where a nearby comic book shop
Yeah,
it was.
because Kaboom is gone now.
Yeah, but there's one called Comic Warehouse, and it looks like it's been around for like ever. And I was like tempted to go there, but it was kind of far away, and I'm still getting acclimated
Yeah, they had
My
the 501st Legion's local branch was out in front of the comic book store here with their Mandalorian armor and their Stormtrooper armor and all of that.
Very
And
cool.
there was an R2D2 who unfortunately shorted out like the Jawas hit him. Like there was smoke and everything.
the nearest comic book store to me is actually 50 miles away. So
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah,
But,
that
yeah.
would have been tough. Okay, so I put a link in the chat room. This is the last piece of product news. Star Trek Panic is now on sale on the StarTrek.com store. So check it out.
all the red shirts are screaming.
Red alert. Actually, that's what they should have called it, but oh well. I have a couple items of book news, and then we can pass the show on to Janet. Is that a good idea?
That's fine.
Sure.
Sound like a plan? Okay.
Go ahead and do that, and then I've got a question for you.
Okay.
Tell me a Star Trek story. Book news.
So first off, for the book news, StarTrek.com, they had an article that talks about it's inside a travel guide to Vulcan. So this is Dayton's new book, and they give us a sneak peek at what is inside the book. And I have to say, some of the
My guess is
images.
words.
Well, there's pictures too, and I have to say, some of these pictures are amazing. The city that's like growing through the rock. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Well, don't forget that came from that in 2009. Remember?
Really? Okay, I must have
Yeah.
missed that. But yeah, I mean, there's this is fantastic. I mean,
I love the Lake Huron one with the nod to Vasquez Rocks there.
Yeah, it looks very Vasquez like. Even the one above it of Shikar.
Yeah.
Where
That map is pretty awesome.
Yeah, this is great. So definitely check it out. I want to get a copy of the book. It should be on sale soon, if not already. I think it's soon. I'm looking to see if there's a date on when it gets released. July 19th. So, and it looks like it's running for about $20, 160 pages, and it's 6x9.
Oh, I don't know if I want to give Dayton $20.
That's all booze money.
No, remember he's writing his sole profession now, so.
Yes.
So he needs to booze money even more.
So please support Dayton and all the other licensed authors.
Definitely.
Yes.
Okay, I'm getting the last link for book news.
Okay. Was that the last one?
One more.
Okay.
Okay, so StarTrek.com, another article. They're Ships of the Line, Book 2, Bigger, Faster, Stronger. So it looks like Doug Drexler and company are at it again. Let's see, Doug Drexler, Michael Kuda, Margaret Clark. So they've got it seems like it's an interview with all of these people talking about the book. And I have to say, I mean, this has always been a fantastic book. I mean, the pictures are beautiful and yeah. So check out the article and pick up the book. I think, like I said, there's two of them now. This might be a third, but it's definitely worth checking out. Okay, I'm done with that.
Okay, did you see that there was new guests announced for STLV?
Okay, convention news, sure.
Fun! Convention news.
Some of the guests that were announced, Eleanor Donahue, who from Metamorphosis, she played the civilian that was on board. She also was from Father Knows Best, is probably what she's best known from. Denise Crosby was announced. Paula Block and Terry Erdman, yay!
Yay!
Aaron Eisenberg, yay! Eddie Paskey, of course, Mr. Leslie. Gary Graham was announced.
Mm-hmm.
Stop, Mike.
I disagree. That's all. I'm not commenting.
What do you disagree with? He is Saval. I mean,
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing. Yeah.
Sandy Gimple, who is pictured in wearing the salt vampire suit.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Greg Itzin, who I don't remember what his character was, but from the photo, it looks like it was on Deep Space Nine.
It was Deep Space Nine. He was the guy that tried to, Curzon. He was trying to extradite Dax because
for
he
a murder
believed
of
Curzon
their
okay.
killed his
Yeah.
father. Yeah. So
I think he was on Enterprise as one of the admirals. Might even have been in Mirror Universe, by the way.
Oh, probably.
And last but not least, it doesn't get any bigger than this. Ladies and gentlemen, Clint Howard.
That's awesome.
The great
Woot.
Clint Howard. The
know,
MTV
I would-
Lifetime Achievement Award winning Clint
You know,
Howard.
I would actually like to see him in an episode of Trek, like now, where he's not some crazy aloof goofy guy, where he's like an actual functioning member of the Trek society,
Yeah, but
just with how he looks. You know,
but
because
that's
he's
the problem.
typecast by
He
how
doesn't look
looks.
he doesn't look normal.
That's what I mean. I wish he was cast in a normal role considering how he looks, because he's typecast in a bunch of stuff.
Well, I don't know
by
if he
how
is though,
looks.
because like in Apollo 13, he was an engineer. His brother always gives him a pretty good role.
Right on.
But Clint Howard, ladies and gentlemen, Clint
That's-
fucking Howard.
That's pretty awesome.
I know. So we've got Whoopi and Clint Howard.
Yeah, STLV is going to be awesome this year.
I think the kids are saying off the hook, Mike.
Off the hook, yes. for shizzle.
I heard one kid say it's neato.
Wow.
I know.
We've gotten a lot more street in the last week.
You know, we're just trying to keep up with the times, sweetheart. Do me a favor. Help me wax my nipples. Thank you.
So,
And my bridges.
Destination Star Trek Europe. They've been announcing some new guests. George Takei and Will Wheaton are some of the new ones. But, I mean, the guest list also includes Christopher Lloyd, Linda Park, Nicole DeBoer, Walter
Robert
Koenig.
Duncan McNeil.
Yes. Bobby Clark, Eric Pierpoint, Armin
Yeah.
Shimmerman, Alexander Siddig, and many, many others. So if you're going to be attending Destination Star Trek Europe, be sure to check that out and let us know how what's that like, because we can't be there.
Speaking of Chris Pine,
Unless we send Steve.
where is it this year? Is it in England?
It is, yes.
Birmingham.
Yeah.
Steve, you going?
That's the intention.
Yay.
Well then we will have coverage.
We will have to start making arrangements then for press passes for you.
I don't want coverage. I want full frontal.
Oh God, not from
Ooh.
Steve.
That's Friday nights.
Speaking of Chris Pine, there was a trailer before Captain America of a movie with Chris Pine, and God damn, I can't remember what the movie was. But the reason I thought of that is
Wonder Woman, isn't it?
no, it wasn't Wonder Woman. No trailer for Star Trek. I was kind of thinking there would be, because we are not that far removed.
Well,
They
see, the
said it-
trailer's supposed to come out the 20th, but it's like, yeah, that's like really, really close to a whole bunch of stuff.
And this would have been the movie to have the trailer attached to.
Well, the last couple of films I've seen in the cinema have all had the one that was brought out for Star Wars fans.
Yes,
had
that
this-
Rogue One trailer.
Yeah, we've had the we've had the Star Trek trailer that was brought out.
Oh, yeah, I will say this though, I saw the trailer for Rogue One. I'm very intrigued by that
Yeah.
The AT-AT walkers on that beach, and wow, amazing.
I want to see it because everybody's still pissed off that that there's a female in lead.
Why? She looks awesome.
I, I don't know. I don't know.
She's hot.
Like it's not like a whole bunch of Star Wars nerds went to go see a Star Wars movie and Rey was the fucking lead character.
Yeah, why would they be upset if there was a Princess Leia movie?
I don't know. They might be. Why isn't she in her bikini outfit?
I don't know. This girl, and it's not a prequel, but it looks like it takes place during the events of the first Star Wars Episode 4.
Oh, this looks like it takes place during the video game series Rogue Squadron. That's what it is. So it's in between them blowing up the first Death Star and then us getting to finding out there's a second one.
Yeah, because they say we have. Yeah, there she is. She's yeah. I don't know who she is, but I must have a.
Okay, 2 more bits of convention news. The first one, our friend Adrienne, she has launched her Kickstarter for Criterion Con 2016 prequel convention at STLV. So check it out. Support her efforts to put on a mini convention during Star Trek Las Vegas. She's trying to raise $4,500, and as of right now, with 15 days to go, she has $500. So let's give her a hand so we can have some additional fun stuff to do at the con after hours. And then finally, the Star Trek Mission New York, their guest list is growing as well. They've announced Adam Nimoy, Ethan Phillips, Gates McFadden, Jonathan Frakes, Julie Nimoy is going to be there. Kate Mulgrew, LeVar Burton, Marina Sirtis, Michael Dorn, Robert Beltran, Robert Duncan McNeil, Robert Picardo, Terry Farrell, and Shatner. So that is Mission New York.
You want to hear a funny convention story, Mike?
I'm always in the mood for a funny convention story.
Kevin Smith was talking about being at one of the some like Star Wars gathering convention type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this girl came up to him, his little girl, like 7 or 8, and she was just so excited. And she was like, "Oh my God, I love you so much." And he was thinking, how the hell would she know who I am? Because there's no way a sane parent would be letting a kid this young watch my movies. And then she asked for his autograph, and after he gave it, she was like, "I loved you, Mr. Porkins." He said that was the coolest he's ever been confused with anybody.
Right on. So, Janet.
Is it time for
Yes.
Legal Corner?
Semantic shenanigans.
Uh-oh, you're in trouble. Semantic shenanigans.
All right.
What do you got for us this
We need
week?
the Perry Mason music.
Hang on a sec, just a moment, because I gotta drink before I start.
Oh, boy.
Look at her. She's pouring herself a little whiskey into the coffee cup, thinking she's
It's a
hiding
double.
it.
It's a
And
double.
somewhere in an alternate universe, Dayton Ward is writing his new Broadway production, Togs.
She's pouring 4 fingers worth.
You'll see which finger. All right.
Oh, hey! I've always been on your side, you bitch.
So
Last
Okay.
time I let you borrow my clothes.
there were a lot of trees that died, unfortunately. Man, oh man, there was a lot of crap to read. So lots of stuff came down. Most of it, I think, is sort of this sound and fury, not necessarily signifying a lot. Monday, tomorrow, There's going to be a court conference. It's basically going to be for scheduling. There were supposed to be oral arguments on the motion to dismiss and all of the attendance stuff that went back and forth on that. And the judge said, I'm good. Don't need to hear it.
Hey, Janet.
Uh-huh.
In case we have any new listeners, do you want to tell them what you're talking about?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking about Axanar. Star Trek Axanar was sued by CBS and Paramount, who are the lawful owners of the intellectual property that we know as Star Trek. The lawsuit came down at the end of last year. I am an attorney. I am admitted to practice in law in New York State. I am in good standing, although I am retired and have not practiced for about 25 years, 26 years, something like that. Be that as it may, I research whatever I write and whatever I say. And I try very hard not to spitball on this stuff because it's very easy to do that. But there are plenty of blog posts on this matter. They are in our, they are on our site. You can always search for them. They are always there. They're always there. They're under Fandance, and you can search under my name, or you can search under tags, legal, law, or semantic shenanigans, for that matter.
And I think the two best sources I've seen are, of course, Janet and Axamonitor, which is like the wiki of this whole thing.
Yes, Axamonitor is run by Carlos Pedraza. Hi, Carlos. Hey.
Hey, Carlos.
And he's very good about digging in, trying to get proof of what he's talking about, or if it's opinion, he will label it as such. Call us haters if you like. Lots of people do say that we are wasting our time. But, or we're spending too much time on this, or we're letting Defendant Peters into our heads and whatnot. But the bottom line is that lawsuits take a while. There was a schedule that was put out recently by the parties, and it's looking ahead towards the possibility of a trial, if it goes that far, in this matter about a year from now. And that is typical. That is so typical as to be boring. Truly, lawsuits take a while. There's people to talk to there, and recognize that while Mr. Peters is in California, that other parties are not. And so that if you want to depose someone who lives in, say, Maryland or wherever, I mean, I don't know where all of these parties live.
Well, in this one, there would be, with the Does, it could be people from across the country.
That's right.
And why did I just have a little Irish lilt there at the end of my across the country? The hell was that?
There's
Some of
even
the Does could be worldwide.
Yeah, exactly. There's even potentially people from outside the United States. So if it comes to depositions, and it should, if we go to discovery, which I believe we will, then we're going to be talking to people, and that can take days. I mean, I've been in depositions that took an hour. I've been in depositions, I've conducted depositions that took days, and everybody gets loopy at the end. I'll tell you that right now. And I know that Defendant Peters has been that he is on the list for depositions. I know this because Mr. Peters himself said that he was. So that's the source, folks. It can't get any. It really can't get any closer than that.
How long? And I ask this quite honestly. How long would it take to go through all of his social media postings alone, going back 5 years, 6 years?
Good Lord, that's there's a job for a paralegal. And well, his social media postings may or may not be germane, but the thing is, they are hearsay. But I want to define hearsay. I've defined hearsay before on this show, and I want to define it again. Hearsay, in common ordinary parlance, when we talk about hearsay, we tend to think of it as being gossip or being untrue. And that's not how it's defined in law. In law, hearsay has two elements. One is that it's unsworn, such as we're talking now. We're not sworn. Nobody's sworn here. We might be swearing, but nobody is, nobody put their hand up and said, I swear to tell the truth. There's no a court reporter, that there's no notary public, there's nothing like that. That's one element, and the other element is the kicker, which is that you're using the statement to prove its own truth, to prove its own veracity. So if I tell you that it's a sunny day in Boston, which by the way it's not, if I say that, well, I can't use that to try to prove that it's true because it's hearsay. I'm not sworn. But if we instead try to use it to prove that I'm on the show, we could use it for that. If we want to prove that I can speak English, we could use it for that. If we want to prove that I have a working voice box, we can use it for that as well. So there's lots of ways to get stuff in. And there's other exceptions to the hearsay rule. I don't want to get into them because that would take me like 3 weeks to talk about. But anyway, his social media postings are hearsay. However, they could potentially be used in an effort to show a pattern of contradictions in communications. And we have seen that. And I don't want to get into that again because we talked about this before. And if you're new to this, and first off, I welcome you. We welcome anybody who's interested, regardless of how you feel. You think Mr. Peters is fantastic and he walks on water and everything he says is golden. Awesome. Good for you. That's terrific. We appreciate you listening as well, because it's important to me. I think it's important to everybody on this show that people be fully informed and can make their decisions based on all the information that they can possibly get. And if your decision is different from mine, hey, that's what makes the world go round. That's fantastic. I had to swallow. Hang on a second. So anyway, so back to the case and back to the documents that we saw. One of the documents.
Mike's dirty.
One of the documents that we saw is a very long amicus curiae brief. It was a total of 80 pages when you include the exhibits from the Language Creation Society, and it was about Klingon, which is a conlang, as whether it's copyrightable. Now,
we had a lengthy discussion about it last week, and yes. We were contacted by them and issued some corrections. I updated last week's post to include some of the points that they referenced, so I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm sorry to interrupt. Please continue, Jay.
No. Thank you, and we appreciate their corrections. So thank you, and yes, we printed their corrections as quickly as we got them, pretty much. They have a very interesting lawyer. The man's name is Mark with a C, Randazzo. My apologies if I got that wrong. He's very easy to find online. He is a First Amendment attorney. Google is your friend in this and in pretty much every other respect. I will say about Mr. Randazza is that when you are in First Amendment practice, you can kind of end up with, shall we say, interesting bedfellows, for lack of a better expression. And that is because the folks who tend to push the envelope on First Amendment expression they tend to be people who we don't love, as a majority in not only this country, but in the world.
Hello, Larry Flint.
That's right. So we're talking about folks who, the best test of the First Amendment in the United States is when it's expressions made by people who are not the Boy Scout or Girl Scout next door. So that's you'll find that he's got a very interesting practice. Let's just say that. So it's a very long brief. I don't want to get into the minutia of it because that's in the blog. Okay, there's going to be a blog post tomorrow about the scheduling order. There's going to be a blog post a couple of days, like the next day, that'll be about the Klingon brief, and then the following week there's going to be a blog post about the responses to it. Now, the thing about the Klingon brief is it is larded up with all sorts of hearsay, whether it is the printed representation of the first page of the Klingon Language Institute webpage, or its articles about the use of Klingon and whatnot. And this is all lovely, but none of this proves anything. I mean, the only thing it shows is that lots of people speak Klingon or they know about it. Well, that's nice, but that's because Star Trek's a really big IP. Will Klingon copyright fall. I have to say that forget the brief. I think there is a possibility that it will, because it could be considered what's called a system. A system is not copyrightable. So if let's say you invent calculus. Let's say calculus didn't exist before and you invent it. And you might even invent it at the same time as like 16 other people because they're using it, for space travel or whatnot, and they need calculus. If you invent calculus, calculus is not copyrightable. Books about it are, but calculus itself is not, because it's a system. The alphabet is a system. It's not copyrightable. Okay, so you see kind of what I'm talking about here?
Yeah.
I do, but I have a question then.
Sure.
Is computer code copyrightable?
That's a very big question. That's being litigated these days.
I honestly didn't know that. I was just, look at me. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm tired
right
now,
now.
so I need to lay down now after that.
Right now, as of right now, yes, it is copyrightable. As of right now, only because the Supreme Court refuses to hear the case.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Supreme Court is I don't want to get into politics, folks, but because there's only 8 people on the Supreme Court, if there is a tie, then the tie goes to the runner, okay? And what that what I mean by that is that it's confirmed. So whatever's at the circuit level is upheld. Thank you very much. And if they uphold it, of course, then it's upheld. And if they refuse certiorari just means that they have the discretion to listen to a case or not, because the Supreme Court can say basically, screw you, we're not listening. The Supreme Court really only grants cert to about 2% of the cases that it gets in any given year. And it's agreeing to even fewer now, because if they think that there's going to be a tie, they're not going to bother. I mean, this is a bunch of older folks, and they're just not going to bother with bullshit if they know it's not going to go anywhere. This is what holding up confirmation of anybody who is to be nominated to the United States Supreme Court. This is what it's doing. So there's a connection there to everything that's going on as well, by the way. Not that the Axanar case is going to go to the Supreme Court, because I'm pretty sure it won't.
Well, I'm not disagreeing about that, but because computer language, it is a created language, so to speak, allowing devices to communicate, and the fact that it can be copyrighted, or it currently is a copyrightable thing. The gray area for other created languages, such as Klingon and Dothraki and whatever, they kind of also fit into that same gray area. They don't really know where they fall. So, but as of right now, yeah, they are a copyrightable thing. But
yes,
whether or not that remains true, this is not the case to do that, though.
Right, and that's what I think is probably going to happen. I think that the court is going to say, nice try, lots of stuff to read, and a ton of publicity that maybe they didn't need. But I think the court is going to say, we're not going to bother, because it's not really the question that's in front of the court. It's a bit too much of a detour. But hey, if Judge Klausner wants to hear it and he wants to rule on it, then more power to him. He's entitled to do that. By the way, if he does, there can be an appeal that goes on. Even though the rest of the case goes on, you can still appeal to the Ninth Circuit, which will hear, there would be a portion of the judges, the justices rather, at the Ninth Circuit level, who would listen and could potentially render a decision in an appeal. And if Klingon falls, then you might see the IP holders for Tolkien's works and for Game of Thrones, you may see them join with that, because they, of course, would have a vested interest. But like I said, I think that the court's going to say, this has been lovely, but we're not going to bother. But let's say it's, they run the table. Let's say that, hey, Klingon's not copyrightable and it's gone, goodbye, excised from the complaint, see you later. And you can't even sue on the individual You can't do anything about any syllable of Klingon that is uttered. If that happens, it's going to be a big old whatevs, because Klingon is still usable for one very big purpose, which is the substantial similarity test. That is, I've been calling it an aggregate, and that's what we're talking about, the whole being as great as the sum of its parts. So if you have a character who is wearing an appreciable percentage of a screen-worn costume or a very, very good facsimile thereof, who has the same makeup and prosthetics that copy perfectly or close to perfectly what the IP holder does, is talking about plot points that are copyrighted by the IP holder, and is named in a naming convention that matches that of the IP holder, and also is speaking Klingon. Guess what? That person's Klingon, or rather that character is Klingon, and characters and the race of Klingons and all the attendant stuff that goes along with them, that is copyrighted. So, and so if Klingon falls, I mean, here's an example. Okay, here's an example from another IP. All right, if you put together about a half a dozen people on a spaceship, have them fly around an area where there's a very heavy Western feel to it. The guy who's in charge wears a long brown coat. Everybody carries a gun. They are basically not necessarily on our side of the law. And half the time they speak English, and the other half the time they speak Mandarin. Now, English isn't copyrightable, and Mandarin isn't either. But guess what, sushi fans? When you put all this stuff together, you get Firefly.
Yes.
Which is a
Yes,
copyrighted IP, just like Star Trek is. And part of being Firefly, of what makes Firefly, is the fact that people half the time speak Mandarin.
It's another one of those, the building blocks have created an IP.
Thank you. It's a characteristic of the stuff that's copyrighted. So even if Klingon falls, even if Klingon becomes perfectly public record, public domain, nobody cares. It doesn't matter. But hey, let's go even further. Let's say that Karn is thrown out, and everything to do with Klingons is totally thrown out of this case. Let's not only give them a slam dunk, let's give them the entire arena. Fine, they win everything. It's lovely, beautiful, perfect. Woohoo! They won this one.
It has no bearing on the IP infringement case.
That's right.
Fucking ever.
Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you're gonna get hit by a tsunami that's 700 feet high, or you're gonna be hit by a tsunami that's 675 feet high, kind of doesn't matter, because we've got here's what is also in violation: Saval, number 1; Sarek, number 2; Vulcans as a species, number 3; Vulcan the planet, number 4; the USS Enterprise. Okay, 5 items. That's just 5 I can name off the top of my head. 5 times $150,000 a piece. What is that, ladies and gentlemen? Magic number. Magic numbers. Going up to what is that? $700,000, something like that. That's basically all the cash that's left, if it's even that much. We go to chapter 11. Game over. And that's without the Klingons. You don't need them. So this has been nice. It's been lovely. And we got to say kapla and write a lot of this stuff in a brief. But it don't matter. And one of the things that the plaintiff's response, I got to read this. I got to find this. So give me a moment to find this. But the plaintiff's response, I thought, was just a delight.
It is so, you people are so freaking crazy. You're like trying to pick this thing into little itty bitty bits, and it doesn't really matter. What the hell is wrong with you people?
All right, page 5 of the plaintiff's response, and I do quote this in the blog, by the way. This is footnote number 3, and it says, While not attempting to substantially respond to Amicus's arguments, it is worth noting that LCS is Language Creation Society, LCS's purported evidence, and that's in quotes, of the Klingon language not being copyrightable includes such things as an unauthenticated news report that one couple, quote, spoke, end quote, Klingon while getting married at a Star Trek convention. Under this theory, had the couple dressed up as Professor Higgins and Eliza Doolittle and been married in Covent Garden, presumably My Fair Lady would no longer be copyrightable. Now I suddenly want to cosplay as Eliza Doolittle.
Oh boy.
Whoa.
I killed the show.
So anyone who decides to, say, do a Harry Potter wedding.
By this logic.
By this
That's right.
logic, J.K. Rowling's wouldn't have nothing to say about it. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's that kind of stuff that was thrown into this kitchen sink of a brief. I mean, I don't dispute that they did their best. What they wanted to do was show that Klingon is ubiquitous, that it's everywhere, that everybody speaks it, everybody knows about it. Yeah, but you know why it is? It's because of Star Trek. Because bottom line, when those lovely folks were married and they spoke Klingon, and when the Welsh government used Klingon in response to an assistant minister's inquiry about UFO sightings, and when this linguist tried to teach his 2-year-old how to speak Klingon, when all of that stuff happened, bottom line is that everybody, and I mean everybody in those groups, in those disparate groups, they all knew that Klingons mean Star Trek. Period. Klingons don't come from anywhere else. Now, no matter how much we want to shoehorn them into regular old pop culture and put them anywhere else, the only association we can make with Klingons is that it's Star Trek. It's Star Trek, and Star Trek is a copyrighted IP. Now, and the other thing I also took exception with, and I talk a lot about in the blog, is that, and this is actually, it's a tangent, and it's really a red herring, and it kind of doesn't mean anything. But the bottom line is that they used a conclusory statement where they referred to it as a living language. This is not a living language, folks. You need about 10,000 or so words in order to really be useful language, and Klingon has about 2,000. A few examples of words that are missing in Klingon. I looked these up. I looked them up on Bing Translator, and if Bing Translator is incomplete, then my apologies, but I'm relying on it.
Bing isn't the most accurate, but go ahead.
Okay, well, it's the best thing I got, and besides, they cited Bing, so I'm using what they gave me, okay?
Yeah,
they're
that's
saying,
perfectly acceptable. Go ahead.
Here it is. So they're saying it's acceptable, so I'm using the tool they gave me. Sand is not in there. Toy is not in there. Attic is not in there. And most damningly, I thought, is that the words for blue, yellow, and green are the same. Therefore, you cannot discuss art meaningfully in Klingon. You cannot discuss spectrography, which is a pretty necessary item for the study of stars, by the way. It's part of astronomy. And to bring it all back home to the legal field, you can't write a basic traffic ticket in Klingon.
Well,
right?
to be fair, they probably just kill somebody speeding.
But if you don't make the light, was it yellow? Was it green? In Klingon,
maybe they're colorblind.
Maybe they are. Hey,
they prefer to see red.
My father and brother are both colorblind, and my nephew probably is too. And they know that there's a difference.
Eyes matter?
Do Klingons really seem like the type that have rules of the road?
They have rules for everything. Have you not been paying attention?
The brief also said that the Klingon concepts of honor could only be understood in Klingon. No, that's not true, because Klingon concepts of honor were explained on the air and in books, by the way, in English or in whatever they were translated into. You don't need to know Klingon in order to enjoy Klingons on the television.
Klingon Art of War by Keithari DeCanado explains Klingon honor in 10 fairly simple precepts, and along with examples and whatnot. But of course, the whole thing's written in English. But I wanted to point out that the idea of a living language, yeah, Klingon still has a long way to go, and there are a lot of words that are missing, and the language is slowly growing, but it's growing at the behest of the Klingon Language Institute and at the whim of its creator, Mark Okrand.
Yes.
KLI, they asked Okrand for new words. Okrand decreed new words. Whether or not it's what KLI wanted, it's whether or not it's what the community needs, that is up to Mark Okrand.
Right. And the brief cites the Académie Française, saying that they are also gatekeepers. They are gatekeepers of the French language. Well, they sort of are, and they sort of aren't. Because what happens in French, which is not what happens in Klingon, is that people through usage create plenty of other things, plenty of other terms. So that while the Académie Française might want people to say fin de semaine, the folks out on the streets of Paris, they're instead saying le weekend. And
okay.
The other part of this, the thing that brief doesn't get into.
So American, though.
Well, yeah, absolutely, and that's why they don't like it. But l'Académie Française, it goes back to the 1600s. All right, it's old. It's old. But French goes back before that. So it's, yes, they are kind of gatekeepers, and they try to be. And it's sort of they're also dealing with their own tsunami that they can't really keep the English out of the language. I don't blame them. I don't dispute that they try to have an authority, but that's not how French was developed. French happened because Gaul was conquered by Julius Caesar. Gallia as Domnia divisis in partes tres. That's what happened. And so Latin came into Gaul, and what the Gauls spoke mixed with Latin, and that's how we got French.
Mm-hmm.
Not somebody creating it in a lab, not somebody sitting down in a writer's room and saying, hey, we need somebody to sound, authentically like a Parisian, so that this is what they're going to sound like.
I do want to point out that Klingon language speakers, some of them, they will use transliteration. What that is they take, because there is no word for something in specific, what they'll do is they'll use a English word, but they'll put a Klingon twist to it. Pronounce it in a Klingon way, spell it using Klingon alphabet, because there's only 20 letters in it, in the Klingon alphabet, and use that as a kind of stopgap measure to get them through until something a little more official comes along. But just because one individual creates a transliterated word doesn't mean that someone else is going to come up with the same word or use the same word later elsewhere in the world.
I think that's what David from Trek Radio does.
Yes.
Because
his name, David, is a transliteration of his real name, David.
Right. And because one time during one of his shows, he was explaining there's no Klingon word for pizza. So the alliteration for that is pizza.
Exactly. So whether or not that becomes an official word, again, it's really up to Okrand. It's not because everyone decides to use it.
Exactly. It's not a popular coinage that bubbles up from the community like the word selfie. Okay. I have the utmost respect for linguists. I used to work with linguists. I worked for Dictaphone for a few years there, and it's a hard discipline. These people are mondo intelligent, and the creation of a language is a really fascinating idea. The whole thing is really interesting. And maybe this eventually will be a living language, but I don't think it's there yet. But bottom line, in the law, it doesn't matter, and it won't matter in this case because, like we said before, even if you took the Klingons and you surgically excised them from this case, and they were utterly out of the equation, it wouldn't matter because you got too many other blatant IP violations that are much
Yep.
easier to prove.
Very true.
I think the biggest argument that uh, about this whole Klingon thing is when somebody goes, yeah, but see, Klingon is a living language. And it's like, how many different dialects of Klingon are there? Because as far as I'm concerned, the language of the planet Earth is all one language split up into different dialects that became French, English, American, German. It's all come from one place, just naturally spoken and evolved into the other stuff. That's what makes a living language.
And one thing about English, okay? If I make you lunch, all right, and I make you a drink that has soda water flavoring, maybe ice cream, maybe not, maybe some milk, maybe not. In some places of the country, they call it a frap. In other places, they call it a milkshake. In Rhode Island, they call it a cabinet, by the way. If I serve with this drink a sandwich on a long roll cut on the side, which I put meats and cheeses, maybe some lettuce and tomato in there. In New Orleans, it's a po' boy. In Philadelphia, it's a hoagie, or if I put cheese and steak in it, it's cheesesteak. In New England, it's a grinder. In New York City, it's a sub. And it's called a Zeppelin in other places. This is how a language evolves, just like species evolve with, one of the characteristics of speciation, when you make a new species, one of the things that helps a lot is isolation. It's this reproductive isolation. If you put a bunch of, Darwin found this, if you put a bunch of finches on one of the Galapagos Islands and you put and you put other finches, same breed, same species rather, onto another one of the Galapagos Islands, and you add water and you wait for about 200 years or so, they're going to start to diverge because one of them is going to adapt because it needs bigger beaks in order to crack heavier nuts or whatever. The other one is going to evolve because they're going to need smaller beaks. And I'm not talking about Lamarckian evolution. That's not what I mean. What I mean is that the ones with the heavier beaks on one island are going to be more likely to survive and survive long enough to reproduce and to have their offspring survive long enough to reproduce because they eat more and because it's easier for them to live. And on the other island, they're going to have those evolutionary advantages because they have these beaks that look like needle-nose pliers. And eventually, once those two groups are no longer able to interbreed and create fertile offspring, then they will be considered to be separate species. And the same thing happens with language.
Yeah.
I'm
Right
done.
on. Thank you,
I want to go to
Janet.
bed now. Good night.
You definitely earned it. Thank you very much.
Thank
Nick,
you.
are you still
This
here?
has been lots of fun.
Ladies and
Yes, I
gentlemen.
am.
Cool.
There will be more. Obviously, blogs are coming, and we will let you know when we get notification of what happens. Day of Reckoning, I believe, will be June 8th. We had originally thought it would be tomorrow, but it looks like it'll be June 8th. And if we get something before that, we will let you know. And thank you for listening.
Thanks, Janet. Nick, in the little time that we have left, do you want to talk about Star Trek Online?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay.
I want to play a Star Trek game. Gaming news.
So, some of the big news coming out of Stowe this week is the new expansion. Let me find it here. The new expansion is Agents of Yesterday. And there's a video attached to the announcement that is voiced by Vic Mignogna. He plays Captain Kirk on Star Trek Continues. So that's how we may know him. But you may also know him from numerous. I mean, he's a very popular voiceover actor. He's done a ton of different anime and cartoons and just pretty much you name it. He's pretty much done it all. So the fact that he's doing the voiceover for this for Stowe and for this particular video, I have heard that he is not going to be playing Kirk in Agents of Yesterday in the expansion. He's going to be playing another role. So
he is going to be playing a role.
He is going to be playing a role. He's going to be lending his. He has lended.
That's the kind of stuff I would have liked to have known.
He is lending his voice to the game
now.
But that's probably going to be a future blog.
But we do not know currently what that role is. But I have confirmed from, got confirmation from Jesse Heinig and I think Nick DeGuide that, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing, but he is not playing Kirk. He is playing an alternate role. So,
And he didn't voice the advert for Agents of Yesterday in a Kirk mannerism either.
Yeah, it didn't sound like Kirk, but it was definitely his voice.
Yeah.
I believe the role that he's going to be playing is another Starfleet captain, a captain of a different ship, that's kind of guiding us through the expansion, or the various levels or whatnot. I do not know if that's correct. I do not know if that's true, but that's what I've heard. Some other Stowe news that's coming out is in regards to the various packs that are coming out with Agents of Yesterday.
I actually have been spending the time since the pack was actually leaked, revealed. Somebody found a link for it before the announcement was actually made. Somehow.
Oh, really?
So 3 hours before the announcement was made, there was information. There was a link to the pack through the ARC website somehow.
Interesting.
And people were sharing it. And if you had seen the original version of it, there was all kinds of stuff that's not in that pack right now. There was a TOS era EV suit, which is not there anymore. The Tier 1 Constellation class, which is there now, was called the USS Enterprise, as if you're getting the USS Enterprise and not a Tier 1 Constellation class.
Well, let's back up a moment real quick. There are two packs. There's the Temporal Agent Starter Pack, which goes for about $19.99, and it includes a Tier 1 Constitution, a Tier 6
Right.
Temporal Battlecruiser Paladin class, TOS Torn uniforms, and a title of Temporal Agent. And then there is the Special Agent Pack, which, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Looks like 13 or 14 ships, as well as
I have a
6 different
question.
uniforms and two, 3. It looks like 5 different titles as well. Go ahead, Nick. What's your question?
Okay, if you're a level 60 plus, if you're maxed out,
Mm-hmm.
do you really want a Tier 1 ship?
Well, see, the idea of this expansion is you're going to be rolling a new character, going through new adventures,
And then we go through what we talked about the other week.
yeah, but the ships that are included are not just Tier 1 ships, though. I mean, there are Tier 5, Tier 6 ships.
You've got one
there's
ship
several
for each
tier
tier,
six.
and
Yeah.
then you get several Tier 6 ships.
Yeah, and
Okay.
some of the Tier 6 ships are very reminiscent of the Enterprise J, as in,
Ugh.
almost evolutionary steps in that direction. But in
Ugh.
terms of the nacelles and some of their various shapes.
I actually have an interesting thought. The clothing that's actually in this pack. 2 of those pieces of clothing already exist in the game. Does that mean they're going to remove those from the purchasable store just to have
No,
in this pack?
I think what it is they're this is just another way to get those uniforms. So if you don't have those uniforms, you're going to get them with this pack.
Okay.
But by the way, this pack costs $129, and it's
big
rough.
pack.
The big pack. This is, and it has a estimated value of around $270.50 to give you an idea. And there's some great designs in here. Some of the ships, I mean, one of them even reminds me of the Archer class, which is from the Seekers and the Vanguard novels. So there's some great stuff in these packs.
That Nautilus class kind of reminds me. It's got a jellyfish vibe without looking like the jellyfish.
Oh yeah, because the saucer is
Because
kind
the
of
saucer's turned up on its side.
turned, yeah. So there's definitely some unique designs, some great ships. So check it out. The new expansion is supposed to be out this summer. I don't think they've announced a specific date yet.
No, a specific date hasn't been released, and Jay Galloway also makes the point that the TOS uniforms are actually the ripped ones, which aren't actually available.
Yes, that is correct. And there's also
there's also the Journey to Babel outfits too, the Andorian uniform,
yeah,
the
the
Tellarian
Andorian
uniform, and
yes.
the Vulcan ambassador.
Yes. So there are 4 new uniforms, but and then there are 2 additional that have already been released. So, or there might be a new variant of what's already been released.
Which is why I was actually asking the question of several other different people before they changed the information, as if the tier 1 ship that is in this pack is actually the tier 1 ship that's already on sale, because at this point it now kind of looks like it, instead of being like it's supposed to be a completely different ship.
Well, it could very well be the same ship, just, made available for this pack instead of having to purchase separately.
Well, yeah, I know, but see, the original wording of what the ship was different than what it is now. Because, like I said, I remember seeing this pack when it was first leaked, and it had a whole bunch of different stuff in it.
Well, leaks were... You can't really take anything that was leaked seriously, because it was something that was still.
Well, no, what I mean
prepared.
by leak is that it was here before the official announcement. The link to this page existed before the official announcement, and it had a whole bunch of stuff in it in these pictures.
Yeah, and they decided to pare it back or make changes before it was officially made.
I understand, but seeing that made me question if there's going to be a different thing later on, because remember the Legacy of Romulus pack, they added stuff to those packs later on down the road.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. They added the Riemann Nemesis uniforms later on.
As time went on, they released more information about what's included in the pack. Anyone who had already previously bought the pack still got those items available to them.
Right.
So they made about 3 announcements about things being included, and they added them each time.
So it's possible that leaked article was everything that they hope to get into the pack, but the only stuff that is actually ready to go is what they've actually announced or released right now.
It's possible, but at this point, what we've seen from the information that we've had, that this is supposed to be another half faction sort of thing, and if that's actually the case, seeing that TOS EV suit, I would kind of, if I was in Cryptic's position at this point, I would literally have to remove it from this pack anyway, because I'd need that I'd need that EV suit to go along with the other lifetime sub EV suits. But that's just me.
Yeah, getting a new EV suit would be cool.
But just because it's a new EV suit doesn't mean it has to be part of the lifetime subscription.
True, but is it
the only one they've got is the one that's in Voyager?
But is it too hard for me to ask for continuity?
Thing is this was just the beginning of the announcement. They've got weeks worth yet to release.
Oh yeah, I know. I completely understand. That's why I've been like just I'm not all that excited about this expansion because it's just the initial, oh, this wasn't an episode. Okay, I'm a little disappointed. But yeah, we'll see where it goes. That's literally how I feel about this. And aside from all the questions that go on about where the Klingon ships, where the Romulan stuff, and it's like, yeah, I can agree on different points of yeah, this would be the perfect time to bring out the Romulan D7 thing if you wanted to do that. Okay, cool. At this point, I'm just like, I don't really care. There's not enough information here. This is people going, hey, we have a thing we want to put out, and buy our thing. That's it. That's all this is.
Mike, is there any timelines news?
I attended, or I sat through the Disruptor stream, and they gave us some heads up of what's coming with their next build, which is 1.1.1. They did not give us an exact date of when it should be released, but they said that it should be going out to Apple on Tuesday. And it usually, because of delays in the vetting process, it usually takes about a week to 10 days before it actually gets released. I think with Google, it's a little bit faster, so we should be looking at a new update in the next week or two. But some of the highlights of this are changes to the shuttle missions. There's going to be a boost section added to the main thing that can speed up or slow down your the time that it takes shuttle missions to complete. If you slow it down, you increase the number of rewards you get for completion. If you speed it up, then obviously I think you're getting the rewards faster, but there might be a penalty, like maybe fewer rewards or something. But there's different kinds of boosts for characters, for to increase their chances of giving you, say, 100% chance of or success rate, and other kinds of boosts. Other changes also include are also going to be affecting the store. They're going to be breaking it up into different sections. So there'll be a crew section, there'll be a boosts or items section, and there was a third section as well that looks like, let me see if I can find it here real quick, that said dilithium crystals. So that'll probably be the dilithium store. They'll probably just stick it there instead of having to go all over the place to make your purchases. They'll be adding some new characters. Some of them include Bruce Maddox from Measure of a Man. They're going to have a TNG era Geordie LaForge, since they have other Geordies. They don't have any TNG era Geordies. They're going to have Barkley. Finally, they're going to introduce their first Barkley, and he's holding fencing foils, the fencing swords. So it's the first time we ever saw him on the holodeck. There's also going to be a new variant
We're getting
of Q.
Musketeer Barkley.
Yeah, I think so. Yes, I think that's probably a good way to describe it. And there's also a new variant of Q. They have not said which one it is, but I'm hoping it's Mariachi Q. I want Mariachi Q. And then there's like 27 more that they're planning, which includes TOS, Klingons, and others. So that'll probably be added to the crew section of the new store. And I think a couple minor items. They did mention that it might be a good idea to start leveling up your Kirks and Uhuras. So there may be a future event. This is my guess at this point. There may be a future event that is going to require Kirk and Uhura. So it might be a good idea to start leveling those characters up.
Oh, well, I probably would level those characters up if I could play the game.
It's not our fault you have a flip phone.
I have a flip phone.
And finally, they did mention that they are going to be at Vegas and New York and other conventions. So look
Nice.
for them there.
I literally have a tablet right beside me that I had timelines on and was playing for about a week. And then Android decided it wanted to update the OS, and now I can't play timelines anymore.
I'm sorry, all I'm hearing is meh, 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 meh.
Yes, I am Beaker.
Oh my God.
All right, Mike, any announcements?
I have something to say. Announcements!
Oh, Sports Show, it's still going on. Normally they release their episodes Sunday morning, but looks like today they're going to be recording it. They had a delay, so look for them early next week. Nick, when are we planning on doing another Gettysburg
I'm in
Address?
talks right now.
Okay, so we'll let you know when the next one of those comes out. From what I'm hearing, Gates of Stavokor is actually making a little bit of headway. I'm actually surprised, but so some work is being done on that, as well as some work being done on Starfinder. So look for those in the near future. I'll be announcing more of that as I find out. But that's all the BLB news that I can think of right now. Oh, there was a Straight Out Gallifrey with Steve. Was it with Steve? I'm going nuts. There was a Straight Out Gallifrey a couple weeks ago, so that I didn't get a chance to announce on the show. But yeah, that's all I got, I think. Go ahead, Steve.
There's also 173 days until 24 hours.
Nice.
Yes, 24 hours of GNT. That
Good
is
pull,
a
Steve.
thing. We are in the planning, early phases of planning. But yes, that is going to be a thing.
Janet, do you have any news?
Oh, well,
When is your graduation, Sweetums?
My graduation is Saturday at 9:00 in the morning.
Are you registered for graduation gifts anywhere?
No. But I have I got my cap and gown, and everything is planned to a T, which of course means my father is calling me up saying, "Where am I supposed to park?" I have no idea. Just follow
tell
the
him in a parking
directions.
spot.
I'm sorry?
Tell him in a parking spot, Dad.
Yeah, well, he's graduation is in Hamden, Connecticut, which is next door to New Haven. And so this means my father will probably be parking in Providence, Rhode Island, if he can save a few bucks.
Oh my
He'll
gosh.
be telling my mom, just walk faster, Shirley.
Tell him to park at Mohegan Sun and then just take the shuttle bus.
There you
Okay,
go.
I have to ask, how old is the photo that you posted, Jessica?
Oh, of my father?
Mm-hmm.
Well, my father's born in 1931. That picture, yeah, he turned 85 the other day. The picture that I posted, he is probably, I want to say 1980s, maybe.
Because he looks so much like Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, he's that picture was taken because I think he was in some company newsletter. For people who don't know, my father is an inventor. My father is a patented inventor with something like 40 whatever patents to his name. The ground fault interrupter in your bathroom or kitchen, my father is one of the inventors of that. Just so you know. And so he was in some company newsletter or whatever, and that was the puff piece photo that was taken of him.
Cool.
I do have an announcement, actually. I'm doing a capstone project this summer because I'm not going to quite graduate. And that is social media for independent writers, which is people who do not yet have an agent. So I greatly appreciate if people could follow me on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all of that happy stuff. I'm happy to answer questions. More followers is nice. We don't just count raw followers. It's not like I get a better grade if I have more followers, but it does make for more interesting metrics for me to provide to my advisor. So I do greatly appreciate it.
It's
And
like
thank you.
Lonely Writer or something like that. What is?
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned metrics and I tuned out. Sorry, Cryptic.
So it's on Facebook is Lonely Writer, right? And then on Twitter it's Lonely One Writer. Is that are those
Correct, because Lonely Writer was taken.
Okay. So follow her, subscribe, stalk her. Just yeah.
Thank you. I do greatly appreciate it. And like I said, I will take requests. I am actually going to try to talk about copyright because that is a question of interest to independent authors. So stay tuned. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Right on.
All right.
Steve. Anything?
No, nobody cares about Steve.
Okay. Are you working on anything, Steve?
I think the question is, when is he not working on something?
True, but go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, people can find me most places on the internet for most sci-fi podcasts. So I'm sure you'll find me somewhere.
All right. Nick, any announcements or anything you want to add?
Nah.
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 All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone.
So this is episode 236.
Wow.
I know, right?
Ooh.
Guys, we are approaching 250.
I have an announcement.
Oh,
Yay!
I'm sorry, son. Please. Oh man,
Are you shaving your legs on a web stream?
It's okay. Sorry. We over at the Tribbles and Ecstasy interviewed Carlos Pedraza Friday. So if you guys want more Axamonitor and more of the Axonar stuff, go check out that interview.
So you're not shaving your legs on a web stream?
No.
The two are not mutually exclusive, though. Well, fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, please drop the link when you get it.
As I learned from the beautiful I. Kirsten, make people pay for that kink.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right.
On that happy note.
He made it awkward.
And now following it up with Happy Mother's Day to.
Oh yes, Happy Mother's Day.
Wow.
Happy Mother's
He
Day.
made it awkward.
Yeah.
Steve, Happy Mother's Day, you big woman.
Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day to Sharon.
Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, and moms, grandmoms,
And happy
wives,
Mother's Day to all the women out there who would like to be moms and might not necessarily be able to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Wonderful to say. We ready to wrap?
I think so.
All right.
All right. Well, Michael?
Kapla.
Janet?
Live long and prosper, and happy Mother's Day to Shirley, June, Donna, and Andrea.
Steve?
Goodbye, everyone.
Son?
I've got the flogger!
Joel on True Low Enders.
Music for the GNT show is provided by 5 Year Mission, Enterprise Blues Band, Warp 11, Andrew Allen, and Greth Thor. The GNT show is a BLB production.
Move ahead, walk back to 10. Put a mini skirt on my yo man. Represent the human race. And we make space a happy place. To fully go where no man's gone before. I think I sang that line once before, but I'm not too sure. We'll be so happy, can't you see? A zero-G community. Gonna travel to new worlds. Beam on down and meet some green girls. Gonna see what we can see. A fancy-free galaxy. To only go where no man's gone before. I think I sang that There'll be no cons or Kobayashi. Gonna travel to the end and make new friends with aliens. Double ego and no man's gone before. Space happy. I think I sang that line once before, but I'm not too sure. We'll be so happy, can't you see? A zero-G community. Double ego and no man's gone before. Space happy. I think I sang that line once before, but I'm not too sure. We'll be so happy, can't you see? A zero-G